recording.
Okay, perfect. Thanks, Amira. Okay, welcome everyone. Good to have you all online again. Hopefully you all settled back and off the page and enjoyed the presentations. And yes, I'm sure there's lots of work happening in the background to try and I think Colin's been in contact with you guys to make sure the recordings are legible and archived correctly. So with that, I see we are scheduled from 3 to 5 this afternoon. What I see on the description is essentially agenda which includes QC or quality control of archiving. So it's essentially where your data is stored, again with your sponsors, what was arranged with them, what data is and how it is stored, the conference and manuscripts that will come out from your projects. Obviously that would have been part of your modern modeling and simulation plans. And then also basically just follow up on essentially your contributions to authorships or future correspondence or future projects to go on. So with that, I see everyone I think is online now. Yeah, all the participants are there. Perhaps we can just start off with, so I've checked on our Moodle for essentially the latest of the presentations that were presented in Rome. Obviously, those are important to make sure they are archived there or stored at least on that Moodle. If that can be done, obviously those haven't as soon as it can be. I know I'm also, I think tomorrow scheduled to update one of the presentations or at least recordings. You will be in chat, I think, with Gabriel regarding those, just to make sure that you're available for that and the recordings can be done. And then with that, let's have a look. Yeah, on the discussions there, those are all there. Yeah, I have
maybe
those.
it might be a good idea to just go through the templates, etc., that we have that Amira had laid out in module 3. Let me know if you want me to share my screen and I can point to some of them, or you could point it out and show how they were used before.
If I can ask you if you have that on share screen at the moment, or Amira, if you have that, if you want to share screen, and then we can walk it through.
Okay, give me a second. I'll just open it. How about we first go with the teams? What do you think, Colin? And quick update on their archiving and
where they are. Yeah, I suppose there's like Q&A or yeah.
Sounds good too.
Okay. So as we know that we have 2 teams that are already ready for this, the Eli Lilly teams. Shall we start with Eli Lilly 1? Just a quick 5 minutes feedback. What happened since you came back from page and your status now?
Hey, hello everyone. So this is so actually for the update, so actually we meet with the sponsors for twice. We have a plan for closure. For myself is like to run the selected machine learning methods and as well as traditional methods on the actual data set, and to evaluate also evaluate the results. So and after that we will have our covariance that we will include into our final model. This is for ADNI, or like for the objective number 1, objective number 2. Maybe Oli Davis talk about it. Also, we will be presenting to Eli Lilly team on July 30. presentation like for our like overall project. So we will be having the results by that time. Also, we are asked also like to archive like the important models, the scripts on the SharePoint. We started doing that and like putting it in a clean way and put it organized way in the SharePoint. We also like in our plan we want to have at least like an abstract and like a framework like for a manuscript or a poster uh, by the end of July. Yeah, and by that I can ask Davis if you want like to add some.
Before Davis continues, thanks, Safa. Could
Yeah.
you be more precise about the time frame? So you're still going to select
Yeah.
one or two methods for the covariate analysis, right?
In my case, we selected four depending on the performance of the machine learning.
And how long do you
The-
expect the time frame to finish this covariate selection?
It should be by this week.
Oh, okay.
This
Perfect.
week, we are having ad hoc meeting on Monday. We usually meet on Wednesday
Okay.
to discuss like the results, like so in order not to wait for a week. So within this week we should have like these results.
Yeah, thank you, Safa. Davis, you want to give us the update? Just in a few words, what you're supposed to do next and how long it will take and what's happening with your archiving and filing.
All right, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, thanks,
Oh,
Davis.
sure. So hello everyone. So the process and the sequence is fairly similar to Safa's. So yeah, it's the running the methods once again, but on my end, just a slight variation. I initially was to select because our methods didn't do so well on my data set, then we were supposed to select the 15 covariates that now we are going to run the methods once again on those 15 covariates. And then once I do that, then I'll run the methods on the actual data set. Yeah, so like Safa had said, I'm still quite lagging behind on that front, but we are having a meeting on Monday. So I should be able to do my run-ins, hopefully have something to present for Monday. As we also prepare for the Eli Lilly meeting on the 30th of July. So I think on our end, that should be it.
Thank you, Davis. Vina, do you want to add anything to the scoop?
No, I think the timelines here. So essentially meeting with the sponsor next week, Monday already, and then final presentation to them by 30th, yeah, end of the month. So quick turnaround time. Good.
Okay, so let's move to the other team, Noor and Innocent. How is it going on your end? The closure and the final model?
Yes, hello. I don't know if Nora is here. I don't think she is.
Okay.
But so I'm present my screen briefly. Can you see this?
Yes.
Yes.
And
Thanks.
so this is our SharePoint where we've been putting everything. So yeah, previous project updates, previous what, but in terms of closure, so we have a draft manuscript. So this file we'll be changing the manuscript. So the first version is this 9th of July. So it has all the files needed to replicate the analysis. Like the data which was extracted is in supplementary tables. So everything is here. Let's go back. Yeah. So otherwise, yeah, the first draft is here, ABC draft. All the other scripts are here. They are numbered 1 to 5. We have 5A, 5B for the Shiny app. Yeah, I think so. What we have shared with the co-authors, we are waiting for feedback from the co-authors, then we'll do revisions. In terms of presenting, we'll be presenting this to the Eli Lilly team, to the rest of the Eli Lilly team on 27th August. But we are on track to close. Any questions?
Excellent.
Thank you.
Thanks, Innocent. That's great. I think the fellows can also look at essentially your methods, or at least on your SharePoint, essentially access to all the data that you'll be presenting. And if anyone wants to review or try and replicate your original data, is all there. So excellent.
So
Yes.
yeah, thanks, Winan and Innocent. I had a question: were any formal quality control performed?
So not
on-
yet. So I
Yeah,
performed the
it's
quality
just
control.
yeah, I just want to draw the attention of the fellow. Like, why do we do what we call QC and archiving? And I hope that everyone understands why it's important. So imagine your laptop breaks tomorrow, or I don't know, it's lost, it's stolen. So that's why it's very important to keep your stuff in a safe and archived, cloud-based solution. That's one. Two, early in this course, one of the objective is to teach you what we call regulatory quality work. Regulatory meaning it is ready to be submitted to FDA, Europe, Japan, whatever it is. And many times, maybe 4 months later, 6 months, a year later, you get a question from the regulatory authority. Oh, what was this model? Can you add this covariate? Can you test this? Can you do that? So you need to be able to retrieve your analysis and to find the correct version of your what we call final model or reported model, whatever you reported. Here, Innocent showed us a paper. Maybe a reviewer will ask you, oh, can you do that or test that? So you need to be able to retrieve your final reported model, do some edits, improve it, modify it, and document it. That's very important to be aware of. And so that's in terms of archiving. In terms of quality control, we are all humans. An error can slip into code quite easily. That's why we have a layer of quality control where another pair of eyes, scientists, look at your analysis, perform a set of prescribed tasks, make sure we didn't have any error unit, column name, whatever it is, things can happen. So we are sure that whatever model we are reporting is 100% correct. Yeah, that's all. Thanks, Innocent.
Yeah, thanks. And the importance of QC. So like when you're publishing something, it's really painful. Then after a year or a few months, someone reports that you presented this result, like a systematic review, you extracted the result from a paper and you extracted the wrong result. So it's and then you need to start correcting the paper, trying to, or it can be really painful to do that. So the best thing is to try as much as possible to look through your work as many times as possible to make sure that before you send it out for publication, at least any errors which you've tried to identify as most errors, you've identified all the errors as much as you can. And then one last thing, if possible, I don't know how, so if you can see this, so currently this folder has everything needed to reproduce the manuscript. So we used monoliths. So the base file is here. But then all the code running, so we ran monoliths using R. So it means that even the VPCs were produced using an R script, everything. So if someone wants to reproduce exactly what I reproduced to obtain them on the VPC plots, everything is in code, which makes it easier for someone to reproduce.
Thanks, Innocent. Thank you so much for this information.
I mean, okay, can I just ask Innocent if you could just go back to that directory that he was showing? Innocent, could you give us some insights into like your naming conventions, your directory structure? That's some of the stuff that should be in the materials that's in module 13. But just talk us through some aspects of that as you were putting it through.
Yes, so first, I'm expecting to change the multiple versions. So this was the first version. So this folder won't be touched again. So if in case I need to change another, in case in case I make changes to the manuscript, I change the code, then I'll put version 10 or something. So for easy follow-up. So because I'm doing it this way, then here I'm not adding any dates. Of course, so here this one has a date, but if I had one folder for everything, I would have dates for everything. But I'm not adding dates because I'm planning to submit this. The way these files are is the way I'm planning to have them submitted. That's why I'm adding the dates to the folders. And then yeah, so otherwise, if you have it, make sure that you're at least able to track it by date. Then so what's missing here actually are the outputs of the are the outputs of the scripts. So each time I output a data set, I add the data I run and the analysis. In that way I can be able to know that okay, this script was produced on this day. Let me share the entire screen and I show you the on this is the ADC paper. So this is like here. So this if you go to the script, I can know that this Monolix input file was made on the 6th of July. The same with TDM1, TDXT. So for keyword, so these don't have dates because they are temporary. As you run the script, you overwrite them. So I keep track of the key files in case I want to know, okay, why is this PPC looking different? Yeah, but yeah, I think that's most of it. And another thing is, so this is supplementary tables. If I open this, so when I'm doing the analysis, I read directly from this file. So that's why I don't have any additional files. So my scripts there are functions in R, read Excel, then select the script. If you don't want to read this title, you can skip this row and then have these exact columns. So I limit the number of, instead of getting this, then editing it, then putting it in CSV, then I have multiple or source documents. I have only one source document for all my analysis. And this is this Excel sheet. So everything is imported from this. And yeah, so I make sure I protect this source document and make sure everything in this is accurate.
Innocent, this is very helpful. Let me ask a couple of more questions, and I might also toss the question over to Safa and Davies. So, Innocent, you keep talking about I, but you're a team with Noor. How much is Noor aware of which files mean what? And I'll motivate my question and you can answer afterwards. So when I managed the module group that I did, I would sometimes have somebody within the team that suddenly decides to go to another company, which means that I needed to reallocate the work to someone else who needed to pick up from where the previous person had left off. This was one reason that we put you into teams. So the one hand really needs to know what the other hand is doing. So to go back to my question, how much of what you're telling us here does Noor know about? Thanks, Innocent.
Yes, so I've been shared. So I don't know if she has looked through this manuscript file. As you all know, she recently gave birth, so she's off now. But before that, we're all using this SharePoint. So after meeting, she knew like the project update would put all our PowerPoints, the ones to present here, and you see the different dates. She was working on the rooks on TDXD. So this is the folder. So she was updating everything. So if I needed something, I would come here. And mine was Mtansin. I was putting everything here. So I would she would come here in case she needs ARA script, program from Monolix. If she wants to use the similar script, she would come here. So this was like our shared space.
That's great. And then maybe if we could just ask Davies and, sorry, Amira, if you agree, if we just ask Davies and Safa to give us a similar view as to how you sharing with each other what the other person is doing. You're in a team, so if for some reason Davies goes AWOL or Safa goes AWOL, if one member of the team is not available for whatever reason, how does the other one pick up from where you've left? Safa, Davies, I don't know who wants to go first.
Hello?
Yes, Safa?
Hello?
Yeah, this is Safa. So, so your question is like how we are sharing like our progress, or
No, let me frame it differently. Like,
okay.
how much of your work is on the server first? Let us say 5%, 10%, 90%, because if it is not on server, the discussion like cannot proceed. Like your colleague or anyone in the company cannot really take over. That's one.
Yeah.
And second, that's where like a method of communication is a QC form where you tell not only whoever is doing the QC person, but you tell any person in the company where to find the key files and models. So they can, okay, pick it up. Okay, that was the model that was QC, so it's important. And that's what I need to modify to answer an FDA question, for example. So the question is, and of course, you need to document in a way that your colleague, your partner in this project is aware of what's going on. And nobody can read others' mind, like whatever like you thought is good might not be the best practices in the company. And it will be hard to know exactly what you were thinking unless you say provide a README file or a QC form for others to follow your organization of your project.
Yeah, yeah. So so maybe I can share my screen briefly.
Yep.
So
Let me stop
maybe it's
sharing.
not.
Otherwise, I was sharing your space for
Yeah, you can open ADME. Yes, it is. It is there. You can open ADME. So it's like archiving. Like maybe these ones, like it has like more like work in progress, I would say. It's like it's having dates. It's not that organized like Innocence show is showing. So I started like doing a folder. It's called archive. Putting like first like the model that we were using. Maybe if you can go up a little bit. Yes, the codes, it has like the important codes, but I believe like I need to put it like also in the final format. Like you can see there's version 1, there's these kinds, like it needs to be still like needs work. For the archive, I started putting like the model that we have used. If we can go to ADME again, and the ADME and the archive. So I'm planning like to have this archive, like to have everything like clean and organized. So this is like the file when we use like monoliths. This is the output of the file. It has like this is the folder, but we also have the run, like the model file, the MLX strand. We have the text file that has the model.
And then Safa, just to push you on the topic that Samir and I are trying to emphasize. If we asked you to stop speaking right now, and if we asked Davies to take over directly from where you stopped, Davies, would you be able to do that?
No, not really, because personally from my end also, I have lagged behind in terms of uploading the files into the SharePoint. So I think after, because I personally from my end, I know I have been working from 2 computers, so I'm realizing that's usually not quite a good thing. So yeah, in terms of uploading there, I know I've lagged behind, but usually I have an idea of what Safa is doing, and I think she also does, because we usually have our own regular meetings. We have our own regular meetings outside from the sponsors meeting and with our mentors. Yeah.
No, that's good, and thanks, Davies, for being frank. I think we've made the point. The point is that there's a lot of work that needs to be done in order for you guys to do what is expected to be done in this month of July. 2 weeks have gone already. We've got another 2 weeks before we close, and there's a lot of activity that needs to happen. Personally, when I looked through, I think I've made the point on the Moodle platform as well. Naming conventions were a little bit of a mess. I think, when you say presentation and you don't know which version that is, that's completely meaningless. What I've also found useful within these directory structures is to put in a file there, a text file called readme.first. And you can just put some hints there as to what the different folders mean. But the documents that Amira is going to showcase to you just now, that's on the Moodle platform in module 13, are much more formal in terms of how you do this. We are expecting that this will be done before you close out. Amira, back to you, unless Samir wants to say something else.
No,
Samuel?
thank you, Colin. I already provided my input. I hope the reasons why we need to do that are clear.
So, Colin, would you prefer to continue with the update or to go into the QC forms?
No. We did what good looked like, or what we thought good looked like, which is Innocent and Noor and Safa and Davies. We've clearly established that we need to do, both those teams needs to do more. Let's see where we stand with the other teams. So let's keep going with the updates from the other teams.
Okay, so let's go with Muila and Cassius, MMV.
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
So are you able to get me?
I can hear you. Yep.
Yeah,
Okay.
we hear
Yes.
you, yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Thanks very much. Yeah. So, from the time we presented in Rome, we got some feedback. So the whole thing was to improve the PD model. Yeah, that structural model. Yeah, and we did some modeling, and yeah, there's a bit of improvement in the VPC, including the estimates. Yeah, but we're also just trying to wait feedback from Samir, but we've tried to do something still. Yeah, and in terms of our next plans, we will be concluding maybe somewhere around 25th of July. Yeah, because what is remaining is it's less intensive than what we have done so far. Yeah, then in terms of the documents, what is there available in the OneDrive, that is Setara OneDrive, the previous presentations and data, but our current presentation we haven't yet uploaded, but we'll upload it because it's already done. Yeah, so briefly that is update from outside MMV team. Thank you.
And are there any objectives that might be dropped from this project, Muila?
No, we will not drop any objectives because the reason is that the objectives that are remaining, it won't take us even 3 days. It will be maybe just a few hours. But what we've done is what has taken us a long time, and we anticipated. So yeah, but what is remaining, it's just translation. It's not something that is very difficult. Yeah.
Thank you, Cassis. Can you give us an update on your SharePoint? How does it look like?
Amira, I still got a question on your question, which I want to rephrase. You asked whether any of the objectives have been dropped. The key objective was to go and eventually get to MMV Solar and to do that with regards to the clinical data. In my view, that's a big amount of work. So has that objective been dropped? So that's Amira's question.
No, that objective has not been dropped. Yeah, because we even had a meeting yesterday with the sponsor. Yeah, the steps remaining are not really difficult because the accuracy um, to the kind of data that we're going to get is solely depends on the accuracy of our PD, our PD model, that the preclinical PD model. But it's not like a whole bunch of like modeling processes. No, it's not that. Even like the PBPK part, which we might even drop, which was not even part, but even it's not something that is difficult.
Okay, Mwila, I'm gonna be catty. I'm gonna be nasty now. And I'm gonna put my video on. To be honest with you, I'm nervous. I'm not sure that that's such an easy task with what's remaining, particularly since I haven't seen significant progress since we met in Page. So please keep us updated really, really regularly. And I would like to see this project completed. If we need to go back and negotiate with MMV that we drop some objectives, I'm happy to help with that because that's my job. Okay. But what I don't want to happen is that you and Cassius, by doing this project, which is the first project with MMV, seriously damages the relationship that we've established with MMV. And I don't want to put that responsibility on you. So we are here to help you to get through this project and to get through all the objectives on the project. Yes, when I spoke to Robin, when we had the mid-program review with him, he said that he would really like to see a good PKPD model of the mouse data. We haven't seen that yet. We fixed the problem in Cape Town, not in Cape Town, in Rome, with regards to that dose effect that you needed to put in. I mean, I still need to understand that, you know, this idea that they are administering doses to these rats or mice, and somehow the bioavailability seems to be different, and they hadn't known that before. That, you know, in effect, the dose was different for the different cohorts of mice. So there's still some significant work, in my view. Again, I think I've made my point. I know Samir needs to drop off at some point, but Amira, maybe that's what you were getting at. Feel free to jump in and push a little bit more. See with any of the other members of the team.
Can you share the SharePoint? I believe that's a good, let us say, update to show us whatever you have on the SharePoint. So
We have
we
not, let me.
so we have an idea of what is
Oh,
being archived or what's being saved. That's my connection or
okay, the
Mwila?
current version of our presentation, which we are you able to get me?
No, repeat again, please.
Yeah, now it's
okay.
back. You froze for
Okay.
5
Oh,
seconds.
I think it should be my internet. Yeah, so I was saying that the current work that we've done, the updated presentation has not yet been uploaded
Yeah,
on the
yeah, but
OneDrive.
I believe there is a misunderstanding here. It's not about presentation, it's just communicating, I don't know, few models you've done. It's not project archiving or saving your work. Like many times we try, I don't know, 100 model, we report one model. So, okay, it's good to have your presentation, but I'm talking about the work itself, the modeling work, any code, any, I don't know, any edit on the data you've done, any assumption, any QC. So as
Yes,
Colin mentioned,
sure.
or I said, if the laptop breaks, if for some reason you quit the project and someone else need to pick up, casters need to pick up. So where are we? Do we have anything on server or not yet?
Oh yeah, I understand. Yeah. So yeah, we've not yet uploaded all the steps, like the various models that we've tried, but we already have them on the laptop, but we need to upload so that at least somebody might follow the various steps that we took to do the PK and the PD, and including the current model that we are working on. So we haven't yet uploaded all those previous runs.
Thank you. Vena, do you want to say something?
No, I think Mwila just noted, I think what the rest of the fellows should also pick up on, you know, this traceability or essentially paper trail of all the work you've done, that has to be documented somewhere. And yeah, it's just emphasizing that if there's a common SharePoint or a platform that you can store all those on, that's obviously the go-to where you must start. And I see all the fellows are obviously having a bit of a struggle with this, but it's something that we've got this month to do. And yeah, just all effort needs to be placed on making that manageable between the two of you. So at least, you know, well, both of you should be on the same page of how you archive, naming structures, access, how far you've got, what has been QC'd, what has been not, all of those things. Okay.
Thanks, Vena. Now we go to Merck, Team Merck.
Hello.
Here we go.
Hello.
Can you, Ali?
Hello.
Hello, Ronald.
Ronald.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Thank you. So in terms of sharing, we haven't shared the on the SharePoint because I have issues
Right.
with my SharePoint. I was logged out and I informed Amir about that. But I had organized all the work I did, and I shared to the sponsors and the our mentors and also Ali to look at all the files, all the scripts and all the models and the plots produced, and also to test for reproducibility if you get the same results. So I wanted to upload on our APT platform, but it was big enough. So when I tried on the SharePoint, I was out. But all the mentors have the work, and my colleague have the work. Have done all the results and the scripts and the data generated, created, everything.
And what about the scenarios? Have you decided which scenario you'll adopt or to finalize this project?
Yes, the scenarios were actually finalized before we went for page. So what we presented at page, those are our final scenarios for these two cases we have according to the data we have at hand. So they are going through the results and to see if there is anything to improve. Yesterday we had the 2 hours meeting to see what we can add on, what we can improve, but all the work was shared for that case.
Okay, thank you, Ronald. Can I say that all the objectives have been met for this project?
Yes, objectives have been met, but we are trying to say if we add on this, what can change with this time we have. And the Islam actually said that we are going to present to the MAC team at the end of this month for maybe to see if there is support and what to continue with more cases. So we are planning to see what the additions are, what we change, Then we'll make the final abstract and presentation. Then at the end of this month, we present to the MARC team, the whole MARC team. Then we see what's the way forward. So that's where we are so far.
Thank you, Ron. And
So-
sorry about not following up about the SharePoint. Colin, yes, go ahead.
No. Okay, please.
So-
I want to hear about the SharePoint because I
Yeah,
don't know what's going to
actually,
happen.
Colin, I couldn't understand what Ronald said with regards like sharing with a sponsor and a problem with SharePoint. So, is
So-
it uploaded to the sponsor SharePoint? How, who did the QC? How we guaranteed the quality of the work? Can you
So can I-
elaborate on that and why is it a problem to upload as a SharePoint?
So the SharePoint part is I've been using the Cetera email, everything, because I logged in and all the accounts are viable. But recently I tried to log in to access the SharePoint and they said my account does not exist. So I tried to maybe to reset. They say you cannot reset because you don't have the account. Then what I did, I shared using.
Ronald, just stop there one moment, right? I just want to know from there, did you at any point let Amira or Samir or somebody know? Amira, so you know about it?
Yes, I heard about it yesterday, but unfortunately I was supposed to meet with Ronald, but I couldn't yesterday.
Okay, but that's just yesterday. When did this happen? A long time ago, Ronald? How long have you been
Yeah.
struggling to get stuff onto the SharePoint?
It happened recently. My computer had issues, so it went off. I was running some heavy stuff, so my computer had issues. So when it was rectified, I could not access that Cetera account, the OneDrive account and everything. But so what I did, I shared using the email. So I was Google Drive. I shared using Google Drive with the sponsors and the mentors, and also my colleague.
Samir, you want to say something or?
It can be, let us say, a short-term interim solution, but we need to fix the access to your account and proper archiving on the SharePoint, because email inboxes are not something we can retrieve to continue a project.
So we need a plan for this to be fixed, Ronald and Ali, and fixed within the next couple of days, because as I said, we've got 2 weeks left before we start to close out.
Yeah, and I don't know about Muhammad Ali, whether he also have a problem with the account. He could have copied and shared the files from his end. As a team, you need to work together and share. If someone access is not working, maybe the other can access and he can upload the files. So
Ali, could you
Yes.
elaborate? Yes, please.
Yes, I can do that. So the model file that was shared, it was shared with Dan and then with our APT mentor. So they are going through what we have done, the model building process, the script, the plot, and everything for each of the scenario, one after the other. So after doing that, the plan is for the MARC team to also edit or to QC what we have done. So this is why we've been having this extended meetings since we came back from Page. That was last week and then yesterday again. So they are going through. After that, then if they are satisfied or if there is any other corrections that we need to do for each of the scenarios, then we will do that before the MARC team would now do the QC of what we have done. So Dan now, our mentor that we keep in touch with her, so she has been raising, the main objective or the aim is for us to work on more drugs to have a good output that would be in terms of publication. So she has been raising the issue that the current contract we have with Satara, so we don't need to have any contract with the MARC team again. But she's worried because the contract we have with the Satara will be ending this month. And then they would want us, if we can have the extension with Satara for a few more, being that what we have currently worked on is like what we used in familiarizing ourselves, and it was a learning process for us, so that we can work on more drugs and then to have on that. But presently, what we are working on is for them to go through before then we can now upload the final presentations to them. But my SharePoint is working and I can upload mine and Ronald's work.
Thank you, Ali. We have a very important question from Innocent about rerunning the model using participants when you are properly labeling the renal impairment. This was raised in Rome. Have you discussed this with your sponsors?
Sorry, come again.
Do you see in the chat, Innocent is asking you about the healthy participants?
I can repeat. So basically, your healthy participant study might have had some renally impaired. They are healthy from your indication perspective. They don't have infection. They don't have III, like intra-abdominal infection, etc. But they might have a renal impairment, hepatic impairment. So I believe one of the studies had quote unquote healthy, otherwise healthy, but they had renal impairment. So that was one, but also before you reply, the idea of having archived or like SharePoint is not like to wait for your final analysis. It might be too late if you wait. The idea is whatever you are doing on a, like, if not daily basis, maybe weekly basis, everything you've done is saved on the server. Again, something can happen, things can change. Don't wait for, oh, your final paper or your final model to save one version of it on a server, because what we document usually is the evolution of your modeling. How did you find what you call final model? We need to follow the logic. It's not just, oh, that's a model, take it or leave it. No, we might question, okay, how did you come up? How did you find your final model? Might change interim steps. So that's very important to have the steps documented, not just your final version of it. And yeah, if you can reply to Innocent the comment, how did you deal with those who had renal impairment? Did you talk with Dan as sponsor about it?
Yeah, yes. So according to Islam, all the data, all the participants that were considered to be healthy, that is his goal. Like we said we don't need to filter the those ones with low AG creatinine clearance or with renal impairment. So he was proposing that we take all the participants as healthy participants. I think for the case of the okay, the reason was like he was looking at those ones with infections as part of the patients, not the part of the renal impairment. But we can also raise it again and see what are the suggestions.
Thank you.
Mira, I got a couple of more comments. So Ali, you asked something related to what happens afterwards, which is what Dan asked you. I would say to you and to all the other teams, if you have those kind of conversations with the project sponsors, please bring Samir or me into the conversation. Set up a call for us to have that conversation with the project sponsors. Okay, Ali?
Yeah, and Roland advised me regarding the contract. So, like regarding more concerns that the fellows contract end with Surtara end by end of July, so we need to extend it. so they can continue working with Merck beyond the end of July. So I'm aware of that through Roland, and I will work with our HR to see what we can do.
Thank you, Samir. Colin, is there any inquiries from this team?
And so the other one is, about the number of drugs. So so far we've seen one of the two drugs, the results was presented in Rome. And my understanding is that was largely done by Ronald. Ali, have you been modeling the other drug, the other analyte? What other drug, actually?
Yes, I've uploaded the recent things I've done after page to our project TeamSpace. Work TeamSpace. I did that earlier today. So the part of the simulations I've completed and I've done part of it. So it's there in the TeamSpace.
Thanks, Amira.
Thank you. Now we'll move to the Genentech teams. Genentech team
Sorry,
one.
Amira, for
Innocent,
interrupting.
yeah.
Let's go ahead,
Yeah.
please.
Yeah, sorry. So no, before we move on. So yeah, there's a plan to move after July, but in case you don't move after July, what is the output you need for end of July? Because yes, it might be fine to move after July, but in the context when the program closes, no one is going to be following you up. You really need to have something tangible at the end of July.
Yes, Innocent. That's what we are working on. And I think Ali is going to keep sharing the updates maybe every week. So by the end of July, we have everything, for the two cases where we are, so that in case there's an extension, then our sponsors, our mentors, and also our project facilitators have what we've been working on.
Okay.
Thank you. Innocent, is that okay?
Yeah. That's all right. Yeah. So what the fellow should know that once July ends, yes, you can continue, but at the moment, let's assume there's no extension. So you have to have something tangible. Should be able to close out the project, have everything archived for the next team, because you don't extend the work after July. Of course, the ideal thing is to complete this and have a manuscript, but let's assume it won't happen when you are planning.
Thank you. Now we go to Genentech team one.
Hello.
Hello, Susan.
Hi, Susan.
I think we are Genentech 2 or anyway. So I can say, I can talk on behalf of our team with Sadiq. We had issues with certain plots that we are currently working on. We've been having meetings. We had one just before the meeting today. But also we've been making sure that we clean our code to make sure that we have the whole code for whatever we've done, from EDA to all these plots and simulations that we've had. So we have started, we have a Word document containing all the plots that we are generating. Then we are creating an R script and merging. So he's working on some, I'm working on some, and we are merging all these R scripts to have one, to be able to say that we have different R scripts for the project. In terms of meeting with our sponsors and discussing our way forward, we did ask Kenta at the beginning of the week. He's still on holiday, but he sent us an invite for the coming week, which is on Wednesday. So we are hoping that we should be able to find out where the problem is in terms of those plots that are giving us problems, and hoping that is also going to assist us to get over that if you're not able to. Yeah, and hopefully be able to close out the project in due time. Thank you. I don't know if Sadiq is in and is able to respond.
Thank you, Suzanne, and thank you, everyone. I think most of the things have been covered by Suzanne, but in terms of just to comment on archiving, we have previously uploaded some of our documents into the SharePoint, but there are some still, there are a few documents that we haven't uploaded, and we are trying to clean all the R records and the plots and everything that we have. And hopefully we'll keep uploading the updated version into the SharePoint. And maybe the final thing that we need to do is in terms of the observed and simulated data, and they were not fitting properly, as she said. So that is the final thing that we are going to work on. And that is what actually Kenta suggested when we spoke to him after the page meeting as well. Yeah, thank you.
And what about the QC? So can you assume that it's Kenta looking into the scripts and all? Is this considered QC enough? Tamer, what do you think? Or Colin, Venant?
Yeah, I need to see what's there. So with Kenta has been very, very careful and very good about the materials. So can I just get a confirmation, Susan and Sadiq? You've got everything uploaded onto the SharePoint or not?
No.
No.
Could you show us what you've actually uploaded?
Yeah, so I think Sadiq, if you're in a position to, please do. I'm using my other laptop.
I just on phone. So
And Amira, after this team, maybe we can take a short break.
yeah, I'm not in a position to share the SharePoint, but most of the things that the recent things we haven't uploaded any updates after page into the SharePoint because we are just cleaning the things that we have in the SharePoint are the older version of what we had before. Not everything is uploaded.
Can you like say how much percent is there and cleaned?
I think we are not, I don't think we are able to
Right.
say that
Now,
a certain percentage has been uploaded, honestly, or because we have not really been updating. So we've always just been communicating with Kenta either on the SharePoint or when we are having our calls and we share the R code and he comments on it, or we just send him the R Markdown script on email and he sends it back with comments. So we've really not uploaded much on the SharePoint. We are sorry.
Thank you, Susan. Okay, so we'll take a 5 minutes break. Okay, Colin?
Yeah, and but then just to conclude, like hopefully Susan, Sadiq, this is a wake-up call, right?
Yes, it is, Colin. I think we will start doing that. Yes.
You know, I mean, just before we break, then we're being a bit hard on this. In reality, this should have been behavior change. This should have been something that's been happening all the way through. And we were quite surprised when we saw the level of non-engagement with the lesson content, but the lessons were identifying that these things needs to happen on a regular basis. Anyway, let's take a break now and then we come back. And how many more teams do we have, Amira?
More.
Okay, cool.
Okay.
What time do we get back?
5:09. No?
Okay.
Okay. 5 minutes.
5 minutes. Okay, thanks.
Bye. Are we all back?
Thanks, Amira. Yep.
Thanks, Bainand. So, last team, Genentech 2, please. Francis Maruti. Genentech team 2. Are you guys back?
Looks like they're online, but still muted.
Okay, let's give them a second. Last call, Maruti. Francis. No?
Sorry,
Yeah, yeah. Oh, Francis, yeah. Thanks, Francis, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so sorry about the delay. Yeah. Yeah, so the last weeks after, yeah, basically the last 1 week after coming out of page, there were a few suggestions that were given to us actually during page by our project sponsor. So kind of based on the findings we had, there were a few additional suggestions on things that we needed to explore to enable better comparison of the results. For example, one was to run the models without treatment effect included. So all the patients without treatment effect included. The second one was to look at the two arms separately, the control versus the intervention separately, and then fit the models to them, and then compare the parameters across these two models. And then the third option was to evaluate the effect of treatment on the tumor growth rate rather than the tumor decline rate of the treatment effect itself. So we did this, and this morning we had a call with the sponsor and the other mentors, and we did discuss the results. The project team overall strongly recommends that we have enough results to summarize our work from the onset to now. There were a few additional suggestions that we had opted for, and this actually came out of the page presentation as well, rather than using what was initially prescribed as, starting from the phase 3 trial data and then trying to sample the bootstraps, which we've been doing. The other option we thought we could undertake to have more control over the data was to use a simulation-based evaluation. So really start from model and then use simulation-based data and evaluate the entire pipeline of work based on the simulation-based data. Mm-hmm. But given the timelines, we all came to a realization that this is going to be a massive undertaking that we cannot just quickly do and have results for this. So the resolution from today's meeting was that we focus on what we have achieved so far and then summarize this into a deliverable report. And then, based on this, perhaps to make recommendations on what else can be done. And that is mainly in the view of the simulation-based study. So that is where we stand. We'll use the next couple of weeks to extensively summarize this. Mm-hmm. With regards to where our materials are, since I think late March, early April, we've been working exclusively on SharePoint. So we have all our materials on SharePoint. Of course, we need to clean up because both of us have been working almost. So we have this thing where we have the standard folders where we work with. And then sometimes if I need to try out something separately on the sides and Maruti needs to do the same, then we have individual folders within the SharePoint. So that is just where we do maybe some trials on some new methods, and then when we want to incorporate it into our workflow, we bring them into the standard folders. That is how we've been doing it. But within the standard folders themselves, we've not really cleaned up our code. So at this point, we have all the content on SharePoint. We can trace where the different from the raw data to the process data to the treatment models to the outcome models. We know where these are on SharePoint, but we do need to clean these up. And then the next aspect of QC is really to hand over. What we've agreed is that the sponsors will have a look at the code and try to rerun them. That is what came out of our discussion today. We don't know if this is going to be the standard approach for QC. Internally, what we've done, Maroti is taking a real look at all the codes. I'm also doing it, and we're doing basically the same thing to rerun them, but that's internal. So what is going to be sort of an external evaluation is going to be bringing into the loop Anna, Antonio, and Francois. So as of now, this is where we are standing, and we think the next 2 weeks are going to be very busy trying to put everything together in a way that somebody else that was not in the project can actually review this and then come to the same conclusions that we arrived. Maroti, do you want to add on something?
Yes, please.
Mm-hmm.
Hi, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Hi, everyone. Thank you very much, Francis, for summarizing. Yeah, in terms of what we have covered already, I think us and the sponsors, we have agreed that we can do the write-up for a very concrete report for what we have covered, given that based on our objectives, several of those we have achieved them. One, the literature review we have done, similarities of the bootstrap data set and coverage imbalance we have done, and then compare of treatment effect. Although we have done this, we did not really know what was the treatment effect. So we would say that we have done it, but we can't point the direction, and particularly to compare across our bootstraps. But we will be able to summarize that in terms of the how the weights impacted the cover rate imbalances, and then the impact of the cover rate imbalance. We have also done some work on metastasis, liver metastasis, which is was in the direction of showing whether this particular cover rate, its extreme case, based on its knowledge about the relationship between the outcome and the treatment, we were able to run these models, which Francis mentioned on this particular aspect. So we have done that, and then I think the sponsors were satisfied today. And then in terms of challenges and opportunities, I think some of the things that we didn't do, we will highlight them in here. And then the gains in terms of opportunities, we will highlight them in here. I think we are able to do that. And then considerations, I think based on the approach of simulation, we do have some story to write up in that particular sense. And then in terms of archiving, Francis is right. We have already started, starting from the beginning. All our things, we run them within the SharePoint. So all our documents are there. And then I don't know if I should share the structure of our SharePoint. And then in that way, then I can just navigate through very quickly. I don't know if that is allowed. It's okay.
Yes, but could you please?
Okay. Desktop 2, yes.
Yeah, no, on the contrary, no pressure. But Maroti, I was hoping you would offer to share because you are one of the experienced card-carrying statisticians, so you know how to do this well. So let's see if we can learn from you here. Thanks, Marathi.
Yes, hopefully. Um, what we have, I think based on that I'm using R mostly. So we have a Genetech project, which carries all the documents, or should I say the folders within this particular program or project together. But ultimately we have the styles that we maintain through our Quarto files. And then the data sets where we keep our data sets. If we were to navigate through this, we'll have other data sets if there's anything, but for now there's nothing in here. But anything that we no longer want, we transfer it to others, and then we keep whatever that we want within the space. So the CSV files, depending on whether Francis is working on a CSV file at some point, maybe doesn't want to work on this. Ultimately, what we want is the script that is reading from a particular data set that it's similar to for all of us. But otherwise, we do have raw files from SAS that we have received, and then the analysis data sets that we actually prepare before any analysis. And then we also have documents that we keep, like analysis plan will be kept in here. Any images that we have, such as logos and whatnot, or one of the figures that was displayed, which is this one. We've shown it a couple of times. So we keep all those figures in here just for record purpose. And then from the literature papers that we have, we'll keep them in here. Manuscripts that we write in terms of Microsoft Word without any programming, we'll keep them in here, which would be for final. And then from the presentations, we keep them in here. We try by all means to organize them in terms of dates, and then maybe the event. From there, we have, I think I've touched on images. Images, yes, I've done that. And then from there, the members, it's actually Francis working in here separately, me working in here separately, and then we transfer whatever that we have learned or discuss and learn. And then from there, we have objects. Mostly here, we keep final objects like the treatment model that we have fitted, the outcome model that we have fitted. We do keep them in here. And then whatever that we have done post modeling, we keep them in here. I think it's very arbitrary, the object part. So I think it will need a proper renaming and stuff. And then some of the pipelines that we reuse or we are featuring within our codes, we actually call them from here. So we develop it, we put it there, and then we call it to do some work and then go back. Like read SAS or load data sets or go a distance or clustering, we do that. And then from there, these are our Quarto documents, whereby we develop a modeling analysis plan using Quarto. I don't think that we have finished this part of it because we wanted to develop everything using R, and then just it was also a learning process for, I think, for Francis in this case. But all our documents, even the manuscript, it's actually in here. We are busy writing the, I mean, like we call it a manuscript, but it's particularly the report for everything that we have done in a manuscript format. And it has sections, which is abstract, introduction, methods, preliminary analysis, which is particularly right now, we are gathering all the scripts that we have written. So the next section would be the results. We would have it here and then start summarizing all the things in there. All the things are called inside this, and then from there, this produces a document that would be HTML or Word, depending on what we want at the end. Otherwise, we keep all our reference books. Most people use, there's some softwares to keep references, but R also is able to keep the project references in a particular document. We can call this. I think if I was to open this, maybe not open it, but let me continue. And then the R environment, these are the versions and the of the R's that we have. So meaning that if I copy this particular folder and give it to Amira, she should be able to run these models if she installs all the packages and the version of what we of what we have used and reproduce everything that is inside here, so long as which is running within this particular folder project, including this particular Genetech tool. And this was encouraged because our mentors said we should maintain version control and also prioritize using R. So that is basically how we structured our folder. And then I think I stole something. We had this particular document, but let me just, but this is navigating through the folders. So you can know what is this in here, and then what does it do, and then the data, you know what it does and stuff. It's very simple sometimes to do this if the names are meaningful. We can actually take a picture of this, opening them like this, and then you take it to ChatGPT, it reads everything that is in here and then suggest what those things means, and then you can edit wherever you want. So that's generative AI, I think. So, but otherwise, this is our folder. Thank you.
Nice. Thanks, Marati. That's really good. I think the rest of the fellows can learn nicely from that as well. It's really nice environment, nice archiving, traceability. Very, very good.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think, Amira, I think Venant said it along the way. You had applause from KCS. I see Davy, Safa saying the same. Maroti, would you be willing to sort of schedule an offline tutorial with the team to tell them, to help guide them through your thought processes such that they could potentially use something similar if there's interest? I mean, what I'm asking is, firstly, if you have time and interest to share the way in which you've done it, and if there's interest from the rest of the group to self-organize that. But you know, whether or not you take that up, I mean, you guys heard me and saw me cranky today because I was really worried. So it's really nice to end with this particular team that has done such a great collaboration together and have documented so nicely as they went along. Thank you.
Colin, I can actually, I can actually, because everybody has seen the structure, I can actually write R script that would generate these folders, and then people choose how they want to use them, or place the things in the relevant places. And then should there be anybody who wants a better explanation, then they can particularly, we can particularly do that. I can just share the script for R, you run it, and then it goes straight to your environment, and then you have all these parts. And then for room for improvement, other suggestions are welcome. Then I can just restructure the script.
Fantastic. And maybe put a Moodle post on that topic.
Okay. Then.
Thanks, Amira.
Thank you. Now I want to make sure that Samir is back, and he will do a short tutorial on how to do proper plots, not vectorized, on R. But before that, let's go quickly about the folders and the archiving. I just want to share with you something very quickly. And this is coming from a real project that I'm working on. Can you see my screen?
Yep.
Okay. So we have client files, deliverables, sandbox, and work plan. The client files here, it contains all the protocols, the scope of work, and so on. The deliverables is like the most important part. We have a folder for the data, for the POP/PK, for the QC, the report. Okay. For the data, you put everything here included, the data set, the QC scripts, and everything. Okay. 1 minute.
Yeah, and while you are doing that, Amira, how many person were working on this project between pharmacometrician, data managers?
I would say 5, 6, 7, something like
yeah.
70.
So yeah, I just want the fellows to be aware that it's a teamwork where multiple people, like we have data managers, people working on, say, analysis, POP/PK, also working on safety and efficacy, also is working on report. So it was quite, I believe we had to complete everything within a month
Exactly.
for regulatory submission for China. So, so that's how it works in real life. You have like a team working on a very, very tight deadline, and we need everything to be documented, QC'd, and then we provide what we call a submission package. That's package that we can submit to regulatory authority.
Exactly. So during our course, we had for so far 3 documents that were very important. First one was the analysis plan, where it is usually put here in the work plan and the scope of work, or it can be in the deliverables in in the reports. The second one, yes, the second important one was the data specs. If you remember Gurley's presentation and how to do the data specs document, it is usually put in the data folder. And then we have the report, the final report, the PK report, which is also added in the report part. So far in our tutorials, we discussed 3 types of documents. And now we're going to discuss the 4th part, which is the QC form. So in the QC form, for example, if you take Francis and Maruti will submit this document to Francis, and here he will write all the name of the project, the location, and everything, and he will write which script he wants it to be QC'd, the name of the script, and the analyst that made the script, and then the QC item, what is expected from Maruti to do. He has to do code inspection to compare the model definition and so on. So
Amira,
Amira, are you sharing that?
sorry, are you sharing something?
Yes.
We only seeing your folders.
Directly.
Okay, thank you. Sorry about that. Okay, can you see it now?
Yeah, there we go. Perfect.
Okay. So as I'm saying, if, for example, that Francis is submitting this form to Maruti to QC his scripts. So he will write to Maruti the name of the script down there and what he expects Maruti to do. Code inspection, compare definition, do reruns, and then Maruti will write his findings in this part and they will sign. So this is how the QC form looks like, and it is on the Moodle. We expect you all to go through it and to do it internally first. And if it is possible, you can share it. Is it okay, Colin, that we share them with the sponsors?
We can't provide the real sponsor files, but we had examples from last year where we had a completed QC form that we had in our module.
Oh, this is from the module.
Okay, yeah, that's the one in the module. Yeah, exactly. That's ABC sponsored. Yeah.
Can we share the empty form with the sponsors so that they can help with the QC part? Is that okay?
With who?
With Merck or Genentech, for example, so that they can QC the scripts of the teams.
Well, it's not their work. Usually, if we want Merck to QC, they will send us their QC form.
Okay.
Like if they are doing the QC, we need to apply their own workflow.
Okay.
And it's not the first time. Like many times, Merck would send us form to sign. So that can happen with any sponsor.
Okay. So we keep this form internally, and we require each team to do exactly like we were saying. Davis and Safa will ask Davis to QC her scripts and to write to Davis exactly what she expects him to do. And Davis will look into her scripts and write her comments in the QC findings. This is all in this module. You will find the empty and the example of a completed QC form. That's it from my side. Anything else you want to add, Vinand?
No, I think that's it. So it's all available, module 13. You'll be able to see a generic form, completed form. You can use that as a template. And then just for internal purposes, QC the work. Once it's QC signed, you can obviously then keep that archived and even produce it to the sponsor if you want to say, look, internally you looked at it. These are the files that are already been QC'd, and yeah, it's essentially a handover to your sponsor.
And please don't forget the analysis plan. I think they're all finalized.
Yeah.
And at least start working on the report. We need to see something by the end of, can I say, but like in 2 weeks' time? Colin, what do you think?
Yeah, well, we have the last session, I think it's already on the calendar, so yeah,
2 weeks.
2 weeks from now.
Okay. And the archiving, it's either you can follow my way or you can learn from Maruti his own way, but please try to be organized and to put all the reports and the QC forms and the scripts in a place that we can find them and read them easily.
Yeah.
Any questions about this part? No? So can we move to Samer? Are you ready for your tutorial now?
Yeah, actually, we had a recording last year, so on how to produce publication quality figures. So I don't know if the fellow had watched this tutorial and any specific question. And I would say that's like a very common comment I have when I review posters or paper. People don't produce vector graphics that can PDF correctly. Many times we have pixelated figures, too small of a font, etc. So it will be good to hear about from the fellows their experience, how they go around producing vector graphics when they want to publish or a publisher asks them to do so. And whether you had watched the tutorial and had any questions.
It seems all the fellows were busy with the finalizing the projects, I think.
Yeah, I'd like to just give an advert for that particular presentation. I think it's another of the many award-winning presentations or tools that Samir has taught us. And I remember everybody was going, wow, that's so cool, that's so cool. When you did the tutorial. So please take the time to look through it.
Yeah, and if any faculty have comment, thanks, Colin. Like I know Amira has used it. Innocent recently made a poster. Yeah, if you can share a little bit with your experience. I know all of you have published and produced very, say, elaborate graphics for papers.
Innocent, do you want to comment on this because you were the recent one?
No, it's good. I actually use it for all my images now. I use export for all my images because it's much clearer if you want it. So I don't know I don't know what it's a very good, so one of the great things I've learned from Samir. I would have struggled to produce what publication quality what. And now if someone asks me, I'm like, bring it on, because you just go to export and if you haven't watched the what, you need to go and watch that video and see what it's a very good tool to have in your skills, in your tool set.
Innocent, do you have an example of what Samir taught you in comparison to what you did before, for example? Like an old image and now how you did it vectorized?
Yeah, so before before I could produce an image in R, I take a screenshot and then play around with it and copy it to PowerPoint. But the problem with that is if you zoom in or what, then
pixels.
yeah, then it's not really very clear. Let me try to look for some comments I got from the. So for the previous paper, when we submitted it, we hadn't used what? I hadn't used that format. And yeah, so when you publish a paper, you don't worry about the quality, but when it reaches publication, they need very good quality. And if you see one of the comments, let me try to see if I can get it. Just a minute.
While Innocent's looking for that, I see Safa is asking for the actual video. Amira, do you know if it's on the drive? On the folder? I mean on Moodle?
I'll check. Yes, I'm checking now.
And Innocent, you can just interrupt when you find it. I mean, what excited me there was when you were able to export a map. So you guys have seen the maps that we produced and shown with where the fellows come from for the APT program. But Samir was able to prepare a map, export it into Excel, and then actually cut out like a whole country out. And I remember that being something that was also very, very cool for my sort of management level presentations.
So actually, I saw that map. I first took a screenshot. So when Samia asked for the graph, so to get that map, I just went to Google, got a screenshot of Africa. Then it wasn't an issue. But when Samia asked for the what, when presenting the what, making the abstract and wanted good quality, I had to go back and then use R actually to generate the map and what.
No, Colin. Unfortunately, the video is not there, but I can check with Gabe. The scripts are there, the example is there, but the video itself is not there. It's not uploaded.
So Safa, we'll get that up for you probably by the end of today. It'll be up there, or at latest by tomorrow.
Yeah.
Amira, I'd like a few minutes just for next week's session.
Yes, of course.
Whenever you're ready.
No, I'm ready now. I'm looking for my poster as well with Innocent, and then we can jump in later. Go ahead, please. Yes,
so
Colin.
Next week, am I sharing? Amira, confirm?
Yes, I can see Colin.
Okay, so next week we have a very special session, and it's one of the last of the tutorial sessions. I started to hint at this particular session when we met in Rome, and that's about case studies in regulatory assessment of modeling analyses. You've heard me drum this or beat this drum for a couple of times already, that in Africa we have an opportunity because regulatory agencies need to learn how to assess modeling analyses that come into the dossiers that get submitted to the regulatory agencies. So we put together this particular module for you. The module is live already. It's next Thursday. I'll tell you how we plan to do the module. These are the three objectives of the module. We want to explore the status of modeling for regulatory decision-making in LMIC settings, but in particular for Africa. This particular objective will sort of run through, and in the tutorial itself will come out or should come out during the discussion session. We want to compare the use of modeling for decision-making in pharma, academia, and regulatory agencies. This objective is materials that's on the Moodle platform. The bulk of what we will do on Thursday next week is we will gain familiarity with the scientific rationale using very specific examples of clinical pharmacology impact on decisions in regulatory dossiers. So these are the three objectives for next week. Here's how we will run the session. We will have an external chair. The chair is Ping Zhao. Some of you may have met him because he was in Uganda recently. He's our main and very engaged contact within the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. Ping has worked within the FDA in the past. He has a particular interest in physiologically based pharmacokinetic modeling. You can look him up or look up his profile. It should be on the platform, on the Moodle platform, but if not, then we'll put a couple of links there, or you can Google him. So Ping will be the chair. One of either Samir or myself will open the session, and then we will repeat this plan for the day, and then essentially hand over to Ping, who will run us through the entire week. What we will then have two lectures, two examples. The first is by Samira. Samira is from BMS, from Pharma. She's going to present a cardiovascular example in a rare disease indication. And then Dinko will present one example on looking at therapeutic index. Those two, they should be presenting for about 20 minutes with about 10 minutes Q&A. We then have a break as we usually do. And then our in-house expert, Samir, will present again his page presentation, which, as you know, was an example with regulatory assessment. We will then have Ping, who will do a general discussion, and he'll take 30 minutes, which will bring us through to the end of the session. I want to take you through what the materials look like on the Moodle platform. Here's the lesson laid out, background to the whole session, the 3 learning objectives that I just outlined, and then how the first objective gets handled. In particular, we want you to follow these links to go to a meeting that was held just before the WCOP, the World Conference on Pharmacometrics. There are several talks there. You can download the presentations, but you will see a description of what modeling looks like for pharma companies that make a submission to the FDA. So what the FDA does when it encounters modeling in dossiers. And then you'll get another presentation in there that shows what the European Union does. Both of those should help try to give us some sense as to what should we do in Africa. There's also a paper by Scott Marshall, who used to be at Pfizer. I don't know where he is right now, but he's they are part of a working group that has proposed ICH-M15, that is a overarching modeling guideline. So then there's some associated readings. This here, we won't really go through this. These are a set of presentation slides, as well as a recording that I put together. This was training for the FDA. So you can look at this in your at your leisure. And then this is the crux of the materials. There's Dinko's presentation that goes through multiple examples. But as I said, he's going to go through one part of it in particular during the tutorial. I would recommend that you look through all the presentations. And then there's background reading, because a lot of the work that he has presented revolves around papers that have been published that informed the regulatory assessment of that modeling. Then there's Samir's case study, and here's Samira's case study. There's also the usual quiz, and that's the materials. Now, the reason that we're showing this all to you is I think it's going to be an amazing session, but then I'm biased because this is a strong goal of mine to be able to get modeling done, and modeling done towards regulatory quality everywhere, but in particular when on the continent of Africa. The second is that the people that are coming in, Ping is an important stakeholder, so I wouldn't like us to disappoint him by not having enough engaged conversations. So do what you usually do with putting in lots of questions on the chat, but come prepared with having looked at the materials. You know that Big Brother is watching, so we know who's logged in or who hasn't, but please don't disappoint us in terms of Q&A next week. Let me just pause for a moment. Of course, jump in with your questions, but Samir, do you have anything else to say? And Innocent, do you have anything else to say? Because both of you have been actively involved in helping me put this lesson together.
Yeah, I just want to add that we have like a good selection of expert. Like Ping has been with FDA before. He was a reviewer. He reviewed submissions when he was at FDA. So he can bring us his experience as an FDA reviewer. We will also have the experience from the pharma side, how they submitted to FDA and how it was received, any questions, any negotiations has been done. So I believe that's a unique opportunity where we can have both end of the story. Also now Ping being with the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, he's been working on a more global level, basically how maybe to influence a WHO policy. So it's another type of global regulatory, if we want to call it. So yeah, please review the material, review the people that are available to you, and bring any question on your mind that can help you shape your future plans. Yeah, Dinko was at FDA, as Colin just mentioned before. He's one of the POP-PK guidance authors, and he moved to pharma, and he's been actively teaching in this field for quite some time. So he's also will bring us unique experience and contributions.
And Samira is a native of Tanzania, currently living and working in the US.
Thank you, Colin.
Thanks,
Any
Samira.
questions? Any questions from the fellows? Because I finally found the bad and the good plots. Okay, let me share my screen quickly. So this was a plot that I made for a poster. Can you see it? Okay. And
Yep.
I had no problem with the plot whatsoever. And Samir was going to kill me when he saw this one because of the pixels. Okay. And then he taught me how to do it this way. So can you see the difference between them? Let me show
So
you
the screen
again.
hasn't changed.
Ah, okay. This is the bad one. And my screen, did it change now?
Not yet.
No.
Okay, sorry. This is the good one. It is no pixels.
Smooth.
Yeah.
Okay. I hope
So-
it makes sense, but okay. Yes, Innocent?
No, actually, I also had the same idea to compare the two. So as after I share, I can share my screen.
Yes, please.
So that's so what I wanted to share was the comments from the publication. I can't find them now, but the guys were a bit harsh. They were like, "This image is so bad. Don't send it again." You just need to see it to believe it. They were. I wasn't offended because I knew how to produce the quality one. But if I didn't know how to do it, I think I would have got some stress. Can you see this?
Yes, thanks.
Yeah, so one
Yes.
is like what I used to do. Then the rest is when you use the export. And I've seen the current Moodle doesn't have the video, but I'll share in WhatsApp. I'll go to the previous APT program, copy the link. Once you have the link, you can be able to view it on YouTube. So yeah, so if you use export and the beauty with this, you can even edit it. You can say, okay, I don't want Kenya, I want to change the color, I want to increase the font, I want to change the number, which you can't do with this.
Yeah, and that's how I edited your upset plot at Page when I sent it to Ronald and Muhammad. So basically, I edited and I made some adjustment so it's more logical and I don't remember what other edits I did, but yeah, I did use export and made some adjustment in PowerPoint. So things
yeah,
can
so
become like, yeah, easier to follow. So for example, you can make the numbers bigger, you can make them smaller, you can do a lot of stuff. Yeah.
and so with this, the more you zoom in, the quality diminishes. But for this, you can zoom in as much as you want. Here I've maxed out the zoom 400, but
Yeah, and
the quality will still be the same.
so basically the difference is whatever on the left are bitmap or pixels, but whatever is on the right are true graphical shape. So the computer would interpret this as a line or as a rectangle, as a true number. It's not like a bunch of pixels. So you can infinitely zoom to the maximum and it still show you a rectangle or a number or a character or a line.
Yeah, but yeah, thanks for teaching me this.
Yep.
And you can find the script under Samer's demo, and we will upload later today the video for the demo. I have just one more request from you fellows. I need the receipts from the page conference, from the Rome trip. I only have Susan's and Cassius, I think, and the rest of you have not submitted anything to us, either me or Rita. So please, we need to do this before the end of the month. Is that possible? Like we did in Cape Town, remember? You sent me the receipts.
Noted.
Okay, thank you. And I think that's it for today. Anybody wants to add anything before we close down?
So shortly, I'll share the link to last year's what. I've seen the Moodle structure has changed a bit. I'll share the link to the YouTube link. Anyone with the link can be able to watch the video.
Please, yes, Innocent. Thank you.
Thanks, Innocent.
And then I want to share my favorite newspaper is actually The Economist. I have a subscription. And what's really cool is the way in which they've started to do graphics that I understand because of my association with with Samir and Innocent. So and they actually had a whole session on informative graphics. And they use amazing graphics to do things like in this particular case, it's still within our world, but they also do things like Trump versus Biden, or what the Kenya elections or the Kenya violence looks like, et cetera, et cetera. And for this to be seen now in the lay press for me is exciting, because some of these graphics are complicated, but this is, look at this, heat plots. What's the worst time to be on the road in London? And you see that there. Why are some languages spoken faster than others? And information is then presented in this wonderful information graphics now. So on that note, we're not in a sort of small little incestuous world of pharmacometricians only talking among themselves. This is out there in the lay press as well.
Yep. Thanks, Colin.
Thanks. Yeah. Take care.
And
Thanks. Amira.
Take care. Thanks all.
Thanks, Amira. Thanks, everyone. Thanks, Amira.
Bye.
See you all.
Thank you.